Do you really want to be awake from this to this? If you're not prepared to outshine the world, you'll remain like this. This has to be given up completely. I still contract, and I notice it. I turn away from it. I don't let it have any holding on me, or not for too long. This body-mind is inherently open. The mind and the body is inherently open, likened to an open hand. But due to the self-contraction, it's not. No self-contraction, it is. To outshine the world, you've got to be prepared to go beyond your comfort zone. You've got to be prepared to be so vulnerable, so very vulnerable, that you feel to the nth degree. Do you know why babies cry a lot? Because they're sensitive. They're sensitive to their environments. Only a few days or months before, they were inside their mother's womb, totally embraced, totally secure, not wanting anything. But they're very sensitive in there too. They can feel input, and possibly there may be some tears there. But you understand what I'm saying. If you're not prepared to be this open vessel, that's the self-contraction, clenching down, grasping hold, strangulating God, real God. You have to be prepared to go beyond your comfort zone. All those embarrassing moments, all those irritations, all those frustrations, all that blaming, that finger pointing. You've got to go beyond your comfort zone, because this embraces all. This is a green juice. But this glass is so indifferent to what goes in it. There have been people who have been living as an enlightened, in the enlightened state, who couldn't care two hoots what they were given to eat. So-called enlightened, maybe. They're madmen in India, not clinically mad. Mad because they love God. They're ecstatic. There's realizers who allow their skins to be eaten by maggots. They're not identified with the body-mind. We as Westerners, more so maybe than India, the world population is victims of their body-minds. You become a victim of your body-mind. I must have this, I must have that. I must be consoled, I must be stimulated, I must be right, you must be wrong, I must be listened to. This thinks it's got a right to live. Not that these are very alive now, they're drying off. But do you think they've got a right to live? Do you think they think that they've got a right to live? They just live. Look at the flowers. Look at the animals. They simply live. They do what they do. They're scratching their balls here, scratching their behinds. They're not self-conscious, picking their nose. There's so much that we humans do in private that we wouldn't want other people to see that we do. Even cleaning one's teeth and spitting up all that phlegm. In some respects, we are absolutely disgusting creatures. But the animals, they don't add self-contraction. It all comes out. It's all apparent. It's all in view of everybody. Went to a zoo the other day. I forget, there was some copulation going on. In some ways, this is private because there's no one looking at me. There's no one here. I'm not getting self-conscious. But I need not add self-contraction if there was someone here. You see, we're dictated to right from an early age of how to behave. You're not allowed to be happy unless you get a tick. You're not allowed to be happy unless you win a prize. You've got to do all the work first. You've got to stay up to 2 in the morning and study, revise for your exams. You're not allowed to be just simply bloody happy. My mother didn't know what to do with me when I was so ecstatic. I've had to go through hell before I've reached this moment of being able to share with anyone. I made this little video 4 days ago. There's over 3,000 views already. And so many thumbs ups. How's that happened? People are pointing their finger at me. Look at him. Who does he think he is? Show off. Egoic. Egotistical. It's the very opposite of what society makes us believe that is real, that is enlightenment, that is being awake. There's a saying, he's got the devil in him today. It's God, full of energy, full of life. People can't cope with this. This is why thousands of people go to the theatre or watch a movie, a comedy, to get them into the laughter place. This is why we had court jesters, just to counteract the seriousness that we all get into. You're not allowed to laugh unless you go to the theatre. You're not allowed to laugh unless you're stimulated. There's no stimulus here. I'm just simply bloody happy. Can you be happy? Of course you can. But do you want to be only happy? Because being awake, I didn't realize this at the time of my devotional practice, that being awake sets you alone. You're alone. The great pianists are alone. The great instrumentalists are alone. The great actors are alone. They stand alone. And the enlightened body-mind, or the body-mind that is being allowed to live happily, is a performance by God, because there's no restriction. There's no, but these are public videos. There's certain things I won't be doing. I've got a friend who sits like this. I'm toughened today. I'm toughened today. You're toughened today. Have you got your dentures in? And we can make fun. Are you going to wait until you're on your deathbed before you realise that you haven't lived a life of happiness? Of course, when I'm in town, in the public, I behave myself, as it were. Did you hear that? There are people where you have to repeat yourself. You ask them to do something, they say, what was that? What did you say? Because they're full of things in their head all the time. They're not receiving. You're in their own little world, a narcissistic world, dwelling on themselves. We're not talking about anything conditional. This is unconditional. It's the inherent natural state of the body-mind. In one of the Gospels, it says you've got to become like children again. Not child. I mean, we can act childish. Mummy, what did you say? Oh, Mummy, no, Mummy, no. It says in the Bible that children is implying that the state of the child is already happy. Look at how many children nowadays are full of stress and unhappiness. They're always being asked, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? At such a young age, they shouldn't be asked all those questions. The adults are the providers, and they should learn what the child requires. The child's mind isn't a discriminative mind. But so many adults, because they're not in this place, are all uptight and screwed up. I'm not surprised. All this that society throws at us. When I was a child, there was only a choice of 3 different flavours of crisps: salt and vinegar, plain, ready salted, and cheese and onion. Well, if I was a gorilla, I would pee right now. But I'm not a gorilla. I'm going to say, excuse me, I need to use the bathroom. By the way, you men who are listening to this, do you wipe your, after you've had a pee? I learned to do that, what, 35 years, over 30 years ago. I had a friend staying, and he introduced me to wiping my, after I've had a pee. Women do, don't they? Quite. So anything should be allowed to be talked about. There's in the God state, there is no taboos. See, society clamps down on us. They say, you will be judged at the time of death. As you approach those gates, you will be judged. It's all control. The Catholics, look at them, a vast wealth. Though anything can be given a price tag, I could say, this is a work of art, it's worth 2,556 pence. It's only labels. But we live in a society, we live in a world, we have to use money, etc. But what was I saying? Society tells us that you mustn't do that, you will be damned. They say that act is a sinful act. What is sin? Is this activity of the self-contraction. You see, self-contraction is the activity of sin because it's separation from God. This is God, this is ego. It's separation. The act of separation is sin. And then from that act of sin, that internal activity in the mind, in the body, from that, we then do that within society. This propels us, this clenched fist propels us, and we go like this throughout the day. Every day, every day, every day. Well, I don't. I simply live. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. As I said earlier on, I still do that and I notice it and I turn away from it. So the sin, the activity of a sin is this action, the activity of the self-contraction. And then that pinching of yourself, or strangulating God, strangulating God, that pinch produces the pain, in this case, the redness or the discoloration of the skin. You see? So you understand, it's the self-contraction that's at the root of doubt, boredom, fear, anxiety, stimulation, seeking for happiness. Everything comes from this place. Unless you're awake. And then you can do all of that in this disposition. I've got 2 glasses here. One had a homeopathic remedy in it. So, I hope you've enjoyed this. Hope it's given you some food for thought. And if you want to make contact with me, then email me or put your email in the comments below. And we can Zoom or FaceTime. So all the best. If If you're fed up with your life, if you're fed up with your behavior, if you're fed up with the world, then that's a good starting point, starting place. Enlightenment is in the moment. To be awake is in the moment. I woke up this morning at such and such a time. That was the moment of waking up from sleep. All the best. Bye for now.